Hello, everybody.
I decided to let him do that this week. So, welcome to our kitchen.
Yep.
Still Nikki.
I'm still chilly.
And it's still Monday night, and we still can't get through the introduction without laughing.
One of us can't, for sure.
It's just because it's you.
It's me.
It's you.
I'm horrible.
When you hit the go live button, you always say something goofy because you know it's going to make me crack up.
I got you today.
Oh, well. Okay.
Yeah.
So, welcome to show number 3 and season number 3, correct? Yep. Right? Okay.
Season 3, episode
long
3.
Seasons, year-long seasons with us.
That's right.
So let us know you're watching and where you're watching from.
Mm-hmm.
And ignore the dog rattles that you can hear in the background because we have a little rat terrier that has just shaken one of her toys to oblivion as we speak.
Yeah.
Kind of fun to watch, actually.
She's chewing a leg.
She's going to chew the leg right off of that reindeer she got for Christmas.
Yeah. It's okay.
If you missed the first 2 episodes of the year, we'll just kind of give you a little bit of an update of what we've decided to do. And it occurred to me when I posted on Facebook, I probably should say that we aren't physically traveling across the United States. We are going to
virtually, like this is.
Yep, virtually travel from state to state in order of when they came
induction into the union.
Yeah, when they joined the union.
That's right.
Yes. And just sampling cuisine that we decide to sample from each state, and it will just kind of depend on. Yes, of course. Well, that's part of cuisine.
Yeah. The liquid part.
And it might be, an obvious thing, and it might be a little less obvious. And I'm sorry, but there's going to be just a teeny bit of history that goes along with it. Just a teeny bit. Because you're not the history nerd that I am.
Nope. No, not really.
So this week we are off to Pennsylvania by way of our kitchen.
Second state.
Yes. 1787. The first handful of states were all within a few days of each other in 1787. So, but what are we drinking? I'll talk about what we're eating in a little bit. But
we're drinking the state's name.
We are drinking the state's name.
Pennsylvania. We're going to drink a Pennsylvania. So if you would put some ice in my shaker. Yep. And I will start with the good stuff. Oh, and I need my juice.
I will move out of the way.
Fridge. I got it cold for us. So Pennsylvania uses Caribbean rum. We're using a dark rum from Barbados. Mount Gay.
And it smells heavenly.
So each one of these is going to have 4 ounces. So we're making 2.
Woo!
So it's 8 ounces of rum. And each one gets a solid ounce of pineapple juice. And because for extra measure, we're just going to throw in an extra ounce just because.
Because it's there in the can?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. So we got a little extra ounce. So we got 3 ounces of pineapple juice. We're going to use a dash of grenadine in each. Throw the top on the shaker. And mix. We want to get this nice and cooled. We've got our glasses coming over. Come here, Nick.
Oh, I'm trying to make sure everything's working like it's supposed to. It is. I'm coming.
All right.
It's pretty color.
Yeah. There you go. We have a Pennsylvania cocktail.
That's Actually, very pretty color, kind of a peachy.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can't drink too many of those.
Nope, we're not drinking too many of those tonight.
No, we are not. Wow.
Whew, but that's good, though. We might have to add more pineapple juice to that. Or
That's some good. This is good.
Yeah. That is potent.
That's
Mhm.
that's very molassesy. Molassesy, is that
Yeah.
a word? That's really coming through.
Yeah. Well, that's dark rum. It's supposed to be
I
that
know.
way.
Well, I know, but that's like
Mhm.
that particular one really
Yeah.
kind of powers through there.
It's
But
got some flavor.
wow.
It's got some flavor to it.
Whew. Yep. All right. So molasses.
It's going to be key to some of the stuff we're
To
making
a
tonight.
lot of the things that we're making tonight. And it seems kind of odd for Pennsylvania, but the Caribbean trade, well, here's where the history comes in a little bit, came up through
You're fine.
the Delaware Bay and River and into Philadelphia. So one of the things that we got here largely through that little direction, that little route, was molasses from
And
the
rum.
Caribbean. Well, and rum too.
Because in the colonial days, everybody drank rum.
How much? We learned that while
like 4 gallons a
yeah,
year.
it was insane. Pre-Revolutionary War, it was 4 gallons of rum a year per person. I can't even. It takes us months to go. Well, maybe not months to go through a bottle.
Depends on how focused
we are on drinking it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it stands to reason if you know a little bit about history and food. But so because of that, we're going to kind of focus a little bit on that molasses flavor in most things. Coming up with molasses cookies.
Molasses cookies?
Yeah, I'm baking.
Uh-oh. Oh, boy.
Yeah, let me tell you. So I am using this kind of a basic soft molasses cookie recipe that is similar to one that my mom baked. My grandma didn't bake cookies. She was a pie person.
I got you over there and you walked away.
Well, it's because I'm getting my stuff.
All right. Well, there you go. You're on your...
But my grandpa's mom baked sorghum cookies. And this particular recipe is about as close to that one as we're going to be able to get with molasses as opposed to the sorghum syrup that we had around here at the time. Because,
so let us know you can hear us. Let us know you're watching. Say hi. Those of you out there.
What you're having for dinner.
Yeah, let us know what you're eating. Let us know what you're drinking.
So we're going to get the cookies going and in the oven, and then we'll talk about what we're actually fixing for dinner. So I've got 1 cup of butter softened right out of the package. And half a cup of brown sugar is going in. And I actually measured everything out before we got going tonight because I didn't want to be messing with things. And 1 egg is going to go in. I'm going to try to keep my hands away from... Uh-oh. There you go. 1 egg is going to go in, and we're going to cream all of that together while we get the other things. If you're not brave enough to crack your eggs right into your mixing bowl, crack them into another bowl first. So we're going to cream all of that together, and I'll push the camera that direction here in a bit so you can see it. Take my hands off.
So, to keeping with the molasses theme, do you know why brown sugar is brown?
I do know why brown sugar is brown, but why is brown sugar brown? I'll let you tell everybody.
Because they add molasses to it.
They add molasses to it, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
Considering how we get molasses.
It's by refining sugar.
By refining sugar.
So
molasses is actually a byproduct of...
Hi, Jill.
Hey, Miss Jill. Of the sugar refining process. And we're going to use a couple of different... Brown sugar went in, but we're going to use a couple different kinds of sugar outside of that. While that's creaming, I'm going to tilt this camera down a little bit. We're going to use raw sugar, not in the cookies, but on the cookies. You can see kind of how big and chunky crystals those are.
It's turbinado.
It's turbinado sugar, and the molasses has been washed off of it, but not refined out of it. And that's why it's still that color and chunky. When you get into plain old granulated sugar, which we're going to use for the cookies, but not in the cookies, you guys know what that looks like. You buy it, you have some in the pantry right now. So after that process, then we get molasses, and I use Grandma's Molasses brand because I could just keep a small piece of it, or small container, bottle, jar is the word I'm looking for, in the kitchen, in the pantry. Okay. And then from the molasses we get
rum.
So we have this nice little tie-in with everything, except for what we're having for dinner. That's going to go a different direction, sort of.
It's still going to be a Pennsylvania direction.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, so I'm going to kind of sneak over here so you guys can see what that's doing.
Let me get you to it. There you go.
And I'm going to stop that. Actually,
Looks really good.
Well, you kind of want that butter whipped a little bit.
Pounded into submission.
Pounded into submission, whipped till it's light and fluffy.
Yeah. Grounded and pounded.
Yeah, because once you get the flour in here, you don't want to beat it too much more, because then you'll overdo it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Is it submitting yet?
It's submitting.
Okay.
Okay, so in a different bowl, I'm going to push this back this direction so you can, sorry, this is kind of an odd angle, but it's the easiest way to do things.
I can see.
I have 3 cups of flour that I've already dealt with. To that, 2 teaspoons of baking soda.
Wow.
And this is all-purpose flour, so there's already a baking powder agent, a rising agent in it. So you don't need to add any more for this particular recipe. 2 teaspoons of baking soda. And then here I've got cinnamon and ginger. You don't have to use cinnamon in these. You can use ginger, allspice, cloves, no cinnamon. This has cinnamon and ginger, not the allspice and cloves because of the cinnamon.
Oh.
You could do all 4 if you wanted a really spicy cookie, but I'm going to go ahead and put that in here. But you don't have to use cinnamon in this particular cookie. You can use other warm spices. And the molasses, of course, is going to give you a lot of that flavor. Okay, I'm going to move this out of my way so I can do this without knocking into things.
You're back to
here.
the main camera.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Because I actually need to bring this out a little closer to me. So we're going to, bit by bit, put the flour in the cookies.
Kind of fold it in.
And it's not a huge amount of flour, but if you put all this in at once in a mixer, it's going to, go poof all over you. So I do it a little bit at a time.
There. Now I can see.
Yeah, that works. It's just awkward because I'm trying to keep my arms out of the camera, and my arms want to be right in front of the camera.
There. Now they can see it twisting in.
And I don't have one of those.
Adding a little bit at a time.
Yeah, and you can buy a little attachment thing for your mixer that's like a flour chute, but I never saw them.
Because you don't bake cookies.
And no, I have not forgotten about the molasses. It's going to go in here. 3/4 of a cup of molasses. It's not open.
You got it? All right, you got it.
And just like honey, I have this nifty little plunger thing.
You spray it down with some Earl.
Yeah. And 3/4 of a cup is a good amount of molasses here. That's like half my bottle.
Yeah.
And I have a plunger on this, but I'm probably not going to need it. Yeah, I might need it. So you guys can see that. This is great for peanut butter.
Man, that looks good.
Yep.
Here, I'll take that.
Thank you. And truth be told, I should have added the molasses before the flour, but I got busy talking. All right, I'm going to add the end of this and scrape this down. But not with that
Oh,
one.
Jill says she has a flour chute for her mixer.
It would be very convenient as opposed to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But maybe you can buy me one for Christmas. Part of the problem is my mixer's 22 years old, and if I had to buy
22?
one, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, your mom bought it for me the first Christmas, second Christmas we were together.
Oh man, she must have liked you.
She must have liked me. Pretty sure she did.
She must have thought you were a keeper. It's a good thing I did too.
Yeah, right. I mean, I bake.
You do. You don't bake.
I don't bake at all. You guys are
No.
getting something totally unusual.
This is
for
totally
me.
special right here. And
I
it's,
am, mostly capable. I just don't. Mostly capable.
mostly.
All right, and you can see how it's kind of sticking there. I'm going to scrape this down and make sure we get everything.
Let me get you a different angle so they can actually see it.
Yeah,
There we go.
that's probably okay. I'm going to pull this down. Oh, I can smell it.
I could too.
Okay, I'm moving this out of the way.
Oh man, that looked like it was a little rough to pull out there.
A little bit. This is a little sticky, but we're going to work with it. It's actually really sticky, to be honest with you.
That's good.
Well,
It's more molasses.
yeah, I'm probably going to do things a little differently than I normally do. Usually I ball these up and roll the balls in sugar, but this is too sticky for that.
Well, you got gloves.
Yeah, I don't even think that's going to be. I mean, it's cookie batter's fine, but it's not going to be rollable, I don't believe.
Yeah.
That's okay. Here, you want to lick?
Of course.
Okay. Whoop, you got it?
Oh yeah.
We will. Okay, and this is a deep mixer, so I always make sure that there's no flour on the bottom or something weird.
I didn't see that, but that's okay. So I don't have us on camera.
Now, just remember,
It tastes really good, folks.
I'm not a baker. Just remember that. I'm going to try something. Trying things sometimes is all about. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I'm going to punt. And I'm only going to do, okay, so this will work. So I'm using a cookie scoop. I don't, let me look and see if I can figure out what number. It's a number 18, I think. So it's a little over a tablespoon and a half probably. Roll them sort of in sugar and then onto a baking sheet. And I'm going to do a couple in that turbinado sugar because the turbinado sugar does not melt quite like granulated sugar. Shouldn't melt too much, but the turbinado sugar will really stay nice and crunchy.
So I'm gonna show them that's what she's doing.
Yes, and I'm not going to stand here and do all these cookies tonight. I'll save the dough and use it, or
throughout the rest of the week.
Yeah, I'll do a dozen tonight so we have them, but
yeah,
I'll make some more later. Because that cookie dough will be fine in the refrigerator. I'm going to do 8 on my big cookie sheets. And I'll do, 6 or so on that little one.
Oh, your mom says that she has that little flour chute that you can have.
Oh, that will fit my KitchenAid?
She thinks so.
Okay. Because hers is 25 years old.
I might just buy her one. I mean,
well, that was my point. I don't know that you could find one. I can't find beaters for this one anymore because it's old.
Uh-oh.
And my whisk is probably...
Maybe I need to buy you a new...
I don't want a new mixer. Your mom bought it for me.
Yeah.
And it still works.
Hey, you got to do some turbinado here. Or are you putting turbinado on the other?
I'm doing, yeah, so I have them
Oh.
separated easily.
Gotcha.
So you're going to get a baker's dozen plus.
That's fine
Okay.
with me. So we have 8 on one sheet. Let's go back to the sheets here. Let you guys see them. There's our 8. Pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not probably going to have.
We're going to go back to this one. This one's going to probably get 6. Do you need me to get more turbinado?
Yeah.
A couple more packets?
I would say several more packets. In fact, I'm gonna double coat them here because quite enough.
There's 3 more.
Pop them on in there.
In there.
Now, just because I'm dunking, dunking cookie dough in the sugar, I'll keep the sugar and sock it in my coffee. I won't use it for much else because you really can't, but it'd be good in coffee.
It is good in coffee.
Well, after I've like stuck a cookie dough in it.
You want a couple more?
No, actually, this would be plenty. You guys can't even see what I'm doing.
Yeah, they could.
I think it'd be enough. If not, then that's okay. We'll have a couple. So the other thing we're doing while I'm finishing these up, I'll tell you.
Your mom said that the cookies themselves are delicious with coffee.
Yes, they are. I agree wholeheartedly.
Oh, we've got a little bit of granulated on there too.
One of them I did because it was sticky.
You used it to clean out the bowl.
A little bit, yeah.
That's what works.
So Pennsylvania, if you know anything about regional cuisine, Pennsylvania Dutch cuisine is probably familiar. And it's very much German-esque. Not Dutch. The Dutch comes from the word Deutsch, which is German for German. Yeah. And it's just it's a bastardization of the word, quite frankly, but yeah. It is what it is. But the Pennsylvania Dutch actually are made up of many different countries and cultures that kind of all
right, so we ready?
Merged, yeah. Pop those babies in. They're going in a 350-degree oven for 8 to 10 minutes. Yes, I always follow a recipe when I bake, which is why I don't bake. We'll start them at 8 and see how that goes.
Look and see if that's closed.
It is.
Set a timer for 8 minutes.
And let me get this wrapped up. And I don't have any saran wrap up here. Oopsie.
So what do we got?
Well, I need some saran wrap, and it's downstairs.
Uh-oh. Well, I wouldn't know where. So I can talk to everybody. Say hi, everybody.
You talk. I'll go get the saran wrap. Sorry, guys.
She's running downstairs to get some saran wrap so we can wrap our utensils up. Well, that's going on.
Cookie dough.
Our cookie dough up. Yeah.
So I can stick it in the fridge.
Well, I thought you were doing it for the utensils too. So.
Nah.
All right.
No, I can still talk while I'm down here.
Yeah, you can. It might help to find something when you're down there.
Well, I'll try not to cuss when I trip over something in my basement.
That's true. I'm sure she's still talking, but that's okay. I'll talk too. Well, let me get back to where you can actually see me instead of just there. Hello, everybody. As I said earlier, we've got the Pennsylvania cocktail. It is 4 parts rum, 1 part pineapple juice, and then just a dash of grenadine on top of that. You're going to shake that up real good in an iced shaker, and then pour into a little martini glass.
And it's really good, but
yeah, it is good.
It's just going to stay on the floor.
But it is strong.
Yeah,
it is
you
potent.
won't want more than.
It's like a martini. I mean, that's exactly what it is.
Well, yeah.
It's just a rum martini instead of a vodka-based martini. Which all of you know, I prefer rum over pretty much any
Anything.
cocktail. So it was a very easy cocktail for me to choose.
All right, I probably have enough left for another dozen or so cookies, which I will bake off another night this week.
I'll show
When
you.
people in my
I got it.
thank you
You're welcome.
house
You keep
decide they
going.
need
A sweet tooth?
it's yeah. I put a little thin layer of sugar down just to keep this from getting all goopy in the saran wrap. And this is the press and seal. Saran wrap and I are like mortal enemies.
There.
So I use the press
Yeah,
and
they can
seal.
see that.
Okay, I've gotten about as much out of that as I think I can. Mommy.
So why did you use the white sugar? Why
Because
not?
that's what I have, yeah.
All right. I just was curious.
All right, we're just gonna form that into a
Nice little ball.
little ball using the.
Saran wrap. The
It
Press
doesn't
and
have
seal?
to be beautiful.
No.
All right,
there we go. I'll throw that in the fridge.
in the fridge. You could like roll it in a tube and have slice and bakes, but why be that exact? Okay, pause for commercial break.
Now is a good time for YouTube to
Whew.
skip to an advertisement. Is that what you're saying?
If only.
Yeah,
Okay.
if only.
All right, so Pennsylvania Dutch.
Yep.
What all did you tell him you were talking about?
I didn't really say a whole lot. I talked about the drink. So we'll scan over to that.
Yep, and I'm going to turn this is cast iron, so I'm going to turn on low because it will overheat in a heartbeat.
What are you using?
Oh, I am using bacon grease out of this cute little
I
tin
see
that
that.
my mother bought me for Christmas that says bacon.
Oh, it
you
does
guys
say
can't see-
bacon.
Yeah, it says
Yeah.
bacon drippings.
Oh my.
And a good tablespoon, which is about all that's in here because I haven't
Didn't make bacon.
I haven't rendered any bacon.
You didn't
Well,
make-
I've rendered a little bit, but not much.
You're supposed to make bacon.
Oh, hush your butt.
Yep.
And to that, while it's melting, I'm going to chop up a shallot, a whole one, as opposed to onion. We're making oyster stew. Now, Pennsylvania Dutch and oyster stew might not sound like it goes together,
But tailpipes.
the sorry, I got a big dose of shallot in my nose. Oysters were harvested in the Delaware Bay. Still harvested in the Chesapeake. Goodness. In fact, the somebody was trying to call me.
Uh-oh, shame on them.
Well, I hope that
It's fine.
I hope it didn't answer it. I tried to dismiss it.
They'll get a good lesson in oyster stew.
Well, it was a Marion number, so I'd probably leave a voicemail.
Yeah.
So anyway, the shallot is being a total turd, mostly is what's going on here.
I see that.
Which is why I moved so I could peel it over in my little garbage pail that I keep. So the oysters I'm using tonight are from the Chesapeake Bay. It's a brand that I can buy here in our Kroger store. And I am a little picky with my seafood.
Would you want your oysters?
Yes, I will certainly eventually. Try to buy U.S. seafood because I know how it's treated. Because I know how
It's humanely caught.
well I know what the laws are in the U.S.
Yeah. Unlike the laws in other countries that seafood come from.
Yeah. And sustainably caught as much as possible. Oysters, once I get these in the bacon drippings, I'll show you these oysters, but they are one of the more sustainable seafoods that we have, just generally speaking. And if you don't
Your
like...
dog wanted to carry this out of the way for you.
What did I drop? Oh. if you don't like raw oysters, try them cooked or fried in
Mhm.
something like this, or just fried in general by themselves, dipped in some cocktail sauce. Because I think you'll.
I need a burner side here soon in about a minute.
Okay.
Thank you.
Probably change your mind a little bit. Yeah, it left me a voicemail. Okay. So we've got shallots that are going to cook down.
Mhm.
I'm going to let them go on medium. Now, I'm only using ingredients that we would have had kind of initially in the Pennsylvania area. I am going to put some thyme in here, however, just because I really like it.
Mhm.
And we are going to thicken this, but not to the consistency of like beef stew, like milk gravy
Mhm.
kind of consistency, because I think that's too much for this. This is some thyme that I harvested off of my little gizmo a few days ago to let it dry, and I'm just chopping it the rest of the way. And we're going to pause momentarily and look at cookies. I would say another minute.
Okay.
Gosh, they smell good. Very carefully, don't do that at home. Use something else. We're going to scrape that thyme into our dish, and we're going to kind of let it start moving around. Now, this is not so hot that I'm really concerned about it burning. Okay, little red potatoes.
Oh, that smells just so good.
I part cooked these in the microwave for 6 minutes just to make them cook faster. I am going to peel these because I don't want the skins in my stew. Everything that's going in here is kind of that white, creamy color.
Oh.
So I'm going to attempt to do my best
Yeah.
to get these peeled. They're kind of a pain after you've cooked them. So anyway, because of the proximity to the Delaware, oysters in Pennsylvania Dutch cuisine are actually very prevalent, but not necessarily all the way through Pennsylvania. It was very much a regional situation. Yeah, those are perfect. You can just set the other one over on top of the... And then you can help me peel these bad boys, because man, that one's got a little bit of a bad spot there.
Here, I'll peel.
Here, I'll let you peel over that thing. Okay, chili's going to peel. And if you get a little bit left, it's not the end of the world. We're going to cut these in dices. So we're going to slice. These are small enough I can do 4 across. We're going to stack the 2 that I can stack easily. Just cut in half because they're little. Dice across. And these won't take long. And the stew. Now, you don't have to part cook these. You can put them right in. It's just going to take longer to cook. And that's something that I was trying to avoid. Taking too long tonight to do things. Did you take the other ones out? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, turning the oven off because mercy. All right, I'm going to switch you guys over so you can see that. So those onions are starting to brown a little bit. Now I'm going to put a couple of tablespoons of flour in here. I might need to add a little bit more fat to this. I'm going to end up with about a quart of liquid when it's all said and done, but I don't want it thick, thick, thick. So if you wanted gravy, you would use a tablespoon of flour for every cup of liquid to get to like milk gravy consistency. I want something that's kind of between liquid, soup, liquid, and that. So I basically have the amount of flour. The other thing you don't want to do is let your milk boil. So we're going to start the thickening process with some wine, dry, Chardonnay, about a 1/4 cup just for the flavor. Mostly you don't have to have this. Thank you. And my seafood stock, I'm going to use about a pint of seafood stock right out of the carton. If you can't find seafood stock, vegetable stock works fine. I would not necessarily use chicken stock, although you could. It might be a little too chickeny. Chickeny? Yeah, chickeny. I'll use that later in something else. Like linguine with clam sauce this week. How's that? This we want to boil so it starts to thicken. Now, the starch in the potatoes is also going to help thicken this in the long run. Thank you. Although these aren't very starchy, guys, so it's not going to do a whole lot. I'm going to let you watch that thicken while we finish potatoes. So oysters were actually really quite common. And both of these things, by the way, are foods that my grandpa loved. My Scottish grandpa loved. And I don't know that my grandma ever made a molasses cookie or oyster stew. So I'm not entirely sure, other than my mom's house, where he would have gotten either of them. All right. I'm going to drain our oysters, but I'm going to reserve the liquid because I'm going to use that as well. Maybe. Okay, you might have to do that because my hands are not going to let me.
Okay, I'll be there in just a second.
You're fine. I'm trying to find a finger that's not. There we go. So this is the brand I'm using, Kellum Oysters.
There you go.
Thank you. They are
Rinse.
right out of the Chesapeake, which is about as close as we're going to get to Pennsylvania for oysters. So oyster stew, oyster stuffing, fried oysters, oysters and breakfast recipes. I've seen oysters in all sorts of Pennsylvania Dutch recipes in cookbooks that I have from way back when. All right, I'm going to put these in.
Oh, shoot.
Well, the dogs will get it. Okay, with that, I'm going to wash my hands before I keep going here. One of those cookies slid. Oh, those are yummy.
There you go.
Thank you. Okay, so here they are in all their glory. Now, again, if you don't like raw oysters, they might grow on you. They've grown on me over the years. Here's what one looks like raw. We're going to slide these in kind of a little bit at the last minute. You want one?
No, I'm good.
Okay. They are, I mean, you know, they are what they are. So
We don't have any cocktail sauce or club crackers.
I know that's how I like them. But I like little bitty oysters. The great big things that you can get sometimes. Ooh, not so much. Okay. I feel pull them back over here so they can see how thick this is getting.
There we go. Oh, there we go.
We're going to get the cookies off onto the wire rack. And then we will talk more about the... So, you know, real life, guys, it takes a minute to do some of these things.
Here, let's hit this one first.
Lord, Chili, why didn't you get a...
A mitt?
A mitt. Here, just hand it.
Because you were already on your way. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, that pan.
That's because of the turbinado.
You're right. That's exactly what it caused it. So, teachable moment on a couple of these. Well, only a couple of them though, so maybe they just got in a bad spot.
That was me.
Well, you can eat that one. How's that?
Planned on it. That's why I actually picked it up initially.
We'll show you the cookies in a minute. Let's.
Oh.
Right. All right, so we're gonna actually put all of this in the oyster stew. I need my milk and my cream. So I have roughly 3 cups of liquid already in. I'm putting a pint of half and half in. The reason you want to thicken this before you put your milk or your cream will thicken on its own, by the way. That's why I use half and half. I don't want it too thick. Whole milk would be fine too. 2% would be okay. Anything less than that, sure, you're not going to get the consistency you want. So know that cream will thicken on its own. But the reason I do this part before we get to the milk is I don't want my milk to boil. I just want, thank you. Want it to be nice and lush because I don't want to scald it and I don't want it to curdle. And I am going to, I'm just going to add the rest of this.
My goodness, those cookies are good.
Because that's a lot of oysters going in here.
Yeah.
And if I add the shrimp that I've got. All right, so we're going to pop this back up. I'm going to go ahead and add these guys so they can cook because it will take them a bit. I'm going to add that, but I'm going to strain it through. Yeah, because. All right, there we go.
Thank you.
And I've got some shrimp I'm going to put in here that I saved from what I fixed last night, jambalaya.
Yeah.
So we are going to have more than what we know what to do
Put
with.
this in here or no?
No,
not yet. Okay. All right. Anybody got any questions, comments?
Smart remarks.
We'll take them all.
All right, I'm going to put my shrimp in. I bought these raw peeled tail off already, so I can just use them in recipes without having to go through the, pain in the butt work. So we've got shrimp and oyster stew coming up with potatoes, shallots, a little thyme. You could add some salt and pepper if you wanted.
Please do.
Okay, please do, he says.
Yeah. Miss Jill wants to know if she can have a doggy bag.
Yeah, you can actually.
Of course.
There's gonna be plenty.
There's plenty. Come on over.
You know how to find me.
Yeah.
Here's some pepper. If you don't want, black pepper, use white pepper, but I've already got thyme in here, so it's not really that big of a deal. Now, this is not like spicy Cajun Creole hot oyster stew. Those things, we didn't have those things in Pennsylvania Dutch country. So once these oysters kind of get
cooked.
Yeah,
and the shrimp get cooked.
Okay, I'm gonna let that sit for a minute before I add the cream. Pause for commercial break.
Yep.
And then pause for cookie break.
Yeah, I left you that other half of the one that I broke.
The one that you broke? Okay.
The one that I broke.
Oh, hold on. Oh, wow. All right, put me back over here.
Hold on. All right, you're there.
Okay. This one on my right hand was rolled in
the white sugar?
Yeah, granulated sugar. You can still see the sugar. There's still going to be a crunch. This one was rolled in the turbinado sugar. Definitely can see the sugar. Definite crunch there. Darker on the bottom. So I didn't think about that when I rolled them.
Yeah, they're not burnt.
No, they're just a little bit darker.
Because they sat in molasses.
Pretty much exactly what caused that. They could burn, however. So if you use the turbinado, you might sprinkle instead of roll, but live and learn. I'm going to eat another one here. You want one? So good.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
I know
Is
what
that the granulated?
This one's granulated. You want?
I want to try.
Mm-hmm. Turbinado is a definite crunch, though.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what you want, then they're so soft.
Mm.
Okay. You can have.
Yep. I prefer the turbinado.
Mm-hmm. You just have to watch them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cream going in now. And this is going to cool things down.
I mean, I don't mind the granulated, but I definitely prefer the turbinado.
Half and half going in, guys. Sorry, I misspoke there a little bit, but I'm gonna turn this light off because I'm kind of done over here. I'm a little on the warm side too.
Me too.
I'm gonna stand here and eat too many cookies
Okay.
because oh my.
So the shrimp are starting to white up or cook.
Pink up.
Yeah.
Yeah, once they're pink, they're done. And
Yeah, they've cooked.
if you're using small shrimp, it doesn't take them a few
Doesn't
minutes.
take long at all.
But
as you saw, whenever they went in, they were really, really, really pale, and they're
kind of
nice.
They're almost gray when they're raw. Yeah. Now, if you've got big guys, it's going to take them a little bit longer.
But yeah, these have pinked up real nice. These oysters have kind of firmed up a little bit.
Yeah, when your oysters are firm, then you're on the way to done.
See, that's I get a hold of one, but they keep rolling off. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Oh, we had one.
We'll get a spoon that's not the same color.
Yeah. There you go.
There we go. So, let me see if I can dump one of those out. There we go. So you saw what they look like going in. They
go
shrink up
further. There you go.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The lightning kind of, or the light blew it out.
Yeah.
But they firm up real well.
Mm-hmm.
They shrink. And here's the shrimp. The shrimp are dead.
Yeah.
They pink up.
Real nicely, actually.
I was going for a spoon so I could taste it because it's about the right consistency. You don't want it like watery thin, but you don't want it too thick either. You want something that's kind of nice and lush. Lush? Yeah, that's a good word. Oh, it's so good. I'm glad I put the rest of the seafood stock in it, though it needed it. So yeah, we're gonna let that go just long enough to finish cooking those oysters. Although
doesn't look like it's.
Well, you don't want it to boil, yeah. Because if you boil the milk, you're gonna scald it.
Yep.
So put them back over here, and I'll put that down, and they can see it a little bit better here.
Let me get one of each. Oh, that's an oyster right there.
Yeah, so that's the oyster, and they were good size. Now I grabbed a potato.
Let's see if I can get you a shrimp.
Yeah, and here's, I don't know if you guys can see that. The inside, when they're done, they're just really, really firm. And make sure my potatoes are done, though, before we pull that totally.
Here's a couple shrimp.
Thank you. And then, yeah, the light's a little bit better. And those pink up real well. So, all right, I'm going to throw all that back in. We're going to splat.
Yep. Can I have that oyster?
I'm going to eat.
Split it with me. Go.
They're so good. And they're tender, and they're small, and they're sweet.
Man.
I can ask my mother. I hated oysters when I was a kid. You can put them back on this.
Oh, that's so good.
Hated them. Couldn't stand them. And 3 or 4 years ago, I don't know if Michelle's on or not.
I don't know. She hadn't said hi, so.
3 or 4 years ago, I was in Florida. I've always eaten them cooked. I've never been able to eat them raw.
I've always eaten them raw.
I
don't know.
In Florida, at a conference with a couple of colleagues who were more friends than colleagues, man, we went through probably 4 dozen one night. I don't know, 3 or 4 dozen one night after one of the conference days. Just sitting and drinking beer. I mean, you kind of want to drink beer when you're eating oysters, but they were so good.
Or
we
Pennsylvania.
were in,
might want to drink a Pennsylvania next time.
where were we? We were in Houston, so we had really good oysters. And then when we went to Florida the next year, we did it again. So if you think you don't like them because you didn't like them when you were a kid, try them. Because now, all that said, Mom, acorn squash you can keep. Sorry, that one I'm not gonna
starting to burl.
That one I'm not gonna get over. So sorry. All right, that is done.
Yes, it is. That's
now,
ready to eat.
When you serve this at home, oyster crackers.
Oh,
it's perfect.
That would be really nice.
Saltines are perfect.
Right now,
I have neither. I'm so sorry.
And you're not going to be able to find them either. From what I've heard, they're
crackers around this town are like.
Well, it's not. It's just this region.
Well, it's just everywhere. I think.
Well, I saw on Facebook, that wonderful place that we're on live right now. Somebody saying that they couldn't find any.
Okay, this is
north of us.
Super hot, so we're gonna let it sit and cool, and then we'll kind of wrap the show up.
Yeah.
Now you could make. Oh, hi, honey. You could make this a little bit thicker than this if you wanted to, but it's just this part's personal taste. This is, let's say, inspired by and adapted from. I have several very old Pennsylvania Dutch cookbooks, and by very old, I think my oldest is probably 1935. That's way too hot to eat.
I didn't say it wasn't.
So, like
Look,
I said,
this is my glass.
Well, then talk.
Well, I'm trying to, but you keep talking over me and around me, through me, under me, all over the place. Well, that was a cookie. She thefted a cookie. Wow, she deserves it though.
It keeps me quiet.
It does. I'm looking forward to this. This looks really good. So tonight's menu, we've got oysters / shrimp soup, stew. It's not as thick as a stew that I would think.
No, which is kind of an awkward.
It's kind of an in between.
Right, but when you get oyster stew, it is not stew thick.
No, it isn't.
It's
it
just
really isn't.
It's just the name.
Yeah. So we've got an oyster / shrimp soup
that is based on. Inspired by Pennsylvania Dutch.
Molasses flat
Philadelphia
cookies.
Area. So good.
They are delicious. The dessert is definitely going to get devoured tonight. And we had a Pennsylvania cocktail, which was heavy on the rum, light on the heavy on the cock and light on the tail. Yeah. Mount Gay rum is really good. It's heavy on molasses though. So if you like that molasses flavor,
it is.
It's a little overproof. It's 86 instead of 80.
In other words, you're not going to drink very many of them.
No.
When you bake cookies and you drink alcohol and your house is warm and you're fixing any kind of anything on the stove,
yeah,
it's going to get hot in your kitchen.
It's going to get warm.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a bite of this. I don't care.
We'll just blow on it. Bad husband.
I didn't say a thing.
Nope.
Didn't say a thing.
Nope. Tell me how that tastes.
Oh, well.
I have an idea before we sign off.
Oh my. That's
if you have.
That's so good.
So if I can find some real fast, I will show you this trick before we sign off. I might not have any.
That's delicious, folks.
Crateroni. Nope, here's some.
Where you at?
Well, if you have a bottle of sherry at home.
I'm good with.
Well, I know, but I'm going to put some in mine. Or even just a bottle of cooking sherry, which is not the best, I will admit. It's easy to keep on hand. Cooking wines. Sherry is a type of wine. Cooking sherry, cooking wine, cooking marsala. It's very salt heavy. So it's not my favorite, but I keep a couple bottles, so I have it. a bottle of sherry from the liquor store would be better. This in any kind of seafood soup brings it up to the next level.
All right, I'll take a little bit.
And it's not much. It's like
Tablespoon.
a spoonful, yeah.
All right.
But when we get to the Carolinas, we might make some she crab soup if I can find things to make it with.
Okay.
Because that's the bomb.
Okay.
And seafood anyway.
I'm telling you right now, that was
Not
without
about
it, it
Pennsylvania
was
Dutch,
delicious.
yeah. Just a tip. So,
Yep.
all right, that's it.
Thanks, everybody.
So we're on to another state next week.
You don't remember, do you?
Do not remember the order. I'm sorry.
Look it up.
It is one of the first 13, though.
It's one of the first 3. How's that? It's
Um,
probably like Connecticut, Rhode Island. It's up in the.
I actually want to say it's New Jersey.
It might be.
Man, things that we learned in 8th grade history, I'm forgetting.
That's not even 8th grade. That's like 5th grade.
Look it up.
We're not smarter than a 5th grader tonight.
Not usually when I have
Not
to remember
after a
that
Mount
kind of
Gay cocktail.
stuff. But we are moving along through the 13 colonies.
Yep.
And as long as we're in colonial America, there's going to be a teensy bit of colonial food that comes along with it.
Yep.
I mean, not really, right?
Yeah.
So, God, so many things I could tell you about
we're not
Pennsylvania Dutch.
Staying in the 1800s when we hit Illinois.
We aren't?
We don't have to.
I think we should do horseshoes when we get to Illinois.
We might. Go for it.
Okay. Man, that'd clog arteries, Nuri.
That's
All right, folks. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for traveling with your stomachs to Pennsylvania Dutch country and Caribbean trade country and lots of good food and
Lots of good booze. Lots of strong booze.
Strong booze tonight.
I can see how they got the 4 gallons a year if they were drinking stuff like that.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Like you'd be drunk all the time.
Well, yeah.
Eh.
Nothing wrong with that.
So on that note, folks, we'll see you next week. Have a good week.
Yeah. Enjoy.
I'm going to because it smells good.
That's mine.